While it's true that many problems of society can be solved with the aid of artificial intelligence, we have to look at the problems. A search is made much more valuable when you have resources that are listed in a simpler way, which is something that Bing is doing. As far as I know, not ChatGPT. And you can navigate resources at the bottom and text on the top with a list organized by people who are dedicated to establishing levels of relevance of those searches in blogs. One question that comes to mind is if all the content that is being blocked by paywalls on websites is part of the data that these companies, these softwares, can retrieve from. This is a media question. So if the paywall can be breached, there's an immense amount of content that will be made available for search. And suddenly, it will not be someone's blog who will be the ultimate answer for a question of the internet, but the opinions of renowned specialists in the area and journalists and people who have been investigating subjects for decades that will be now considered, and not the latest study from a group that was paid to do a research that the technology company paid for, and so that they could work with some market variables or anything like that. It will be actual research, actual specialists were invited to be part of an editorial and to stay there for a long period, if that's the case. Number one, paywalls. The second is the question of video generation, which for me I think is very troubling. We live in times when we need to have conversations, and those conversations are lacking meaning. I've been trying to organize myself to write a blog about this, and I've tried before, but I approached some themes and thought, well, maybe this is not so appropriate, and I changed my mind and I deleted it. But there are questions about video communications that we haven't addressed, and they've been around for at least 30 years. And we don't talk about the history of media, which is the one thing that I identified as the pathway to reducing the gaps between access to technology for the few and massified viral content for the many, which includes many times misinformation or low quality materials. The way that now artificial intelligence presents the possibility of making videos that resemble reality. I wear glasses, so this messes up with my psychological well-being. I am a person who has lived long-distance relationships. For this reason, it also messes up on another layer with my psychological well-being and my physical disposition to do things and to be able to make this video and think that you'll look at me, a real person, and look at my arguments and see that this person has been through some stuff and has researched some stuff and is getting informed and bringing us a perspective on updates on AI and stuff like that. But there's a good side. If teens and kids are taught how to make storytelling a compelling thing that resonates with audiences, that they will learn about how to do, and that they will become masters of their professions, either if it's in the new influence market, or if it's in marketing agencies, or if it's for a brand that they apply for, or in any other project of relevance, but keeping in mind the subject matter and addressing the audience with the skill of public speaking and engaging storytelling honed from the school years until the most practical tasks of creating products to be consumed, then we're gonna have a renovation of tools. But at the same time, a lot of people will say, what about the cinematographers and what about the photographers? My dad is a photographer. So the way I see these innovations is just like, there's a guy asking for $7 trillion to make investments in AI, and this is what they have to show, like a video generating tool that resembles reality. Like, don't they realize that the majority of people who are seeking communication today have mental health problems because of how badly their communications were handled? Don't they realize that they have to address this problem first and with high priority, rather than investing in some fucking video game? This is my message for today, and I hope you agree, because look it up. There's a guy, his name is Sam Altman. He is searching for $7 trillion in aid to develop AI. And we, teachers, employees of all kinds, will suffer with this. And I don't know how to create content that is going to be appealing if I don't have 1,000 gadgets fluctuating on my screen that will suddenly be required. I have my voice, I have my brain, I have a limitation. My brain's not a computer, it will never be. I'll not use Neuralink, Elon Musk's attempt to do whatever he wants with the human being in a completely unethical way. Let's just entertain this argument because the guy's the richest man in the world. But like, my brain's not a computer. I have limitations, and you have to realize that if someone entertains the possibility, I know it's for curing disease and stuff like that, but if someone first entertains the idea of putting a chip in brains, then the next step is creating augmented reality to make people see multiple desktops at the same time. And then on the next day, there's a video generating machine that can reproduce Instagram's resolution requirement is 1080 pixels. It's exactly how much this machine can generate from OpenAI. The succession of events is too disturbing, and nobody's putting an end to this. Like, nobody's saying this will be used for education, for example. No, they're using it for political purposes. They're using it for defamatory purposes. They're using it for all the things you can imagine. And when you realize that a lot of the good things that we see are actually to generate profit for the mainstream companies, then you're gonna realize, oh, I shouldn't be posting this on Instagram. It's not a violation of the community guidelines, but it's against our principles, because our principles are to make money. Then we are in trouble. We are in trouble. I am Brazilian. I don't agree with any of this. I think it's absurd. I think it's disrespectful. I think something should be done about this. I've told you about the harms, psychological harms of advancing with this kind of technology without regulations, without prior reparations to the things that were done in how people dealt with communications, video communications. Without reparations, there's no justice without that. But these people are enemies of this kind of idea, and they're advancing with models of video generating artificial intelligence to replace all kinds of human activities that are possible. And what are we gonna do about this? Nothing. It's time to put a stop on trillionaire and billionaire corporations who want to hoard even more wealth for reasons unknown. And let's demand, what are your plans for the next 10 years with this use of artificial intelligence? Because they seem to have a short span period of time where they present what they plan for us. But what about the long term? What do you plan to do? We need to demand answers, because putting on glasses and seeing screens all over the place is not the answer. So what is it? What is the big idea that is worth $7 trillion? Give me the answer for that, and I'll stop whining. How about that?